We've been calling this for a minute. The recession may already be upon us. Now, any prepper knows that the mass media, they're not about informing the average person. They're not about informing the masses about what's coming. But we've been preparing for this. We have been preparing for this. We've been seeing the signs. We're paying attention to the signs. We're prepping. We're stocking up. We're stockpiling goods. And we are financially prepping as well. And just today, Walmart came out and they cut their quarterly and full year profit guidance, essentially saying that inflation is causing shoppers to spend more on necessities such as food and less on items like clothing and electronics. Now, if you're smart, that's the name of the game. You're buying necessities and you're stockpiling items that you find on good discounts. Stockpiling, in my opinion, is like investing in today's prices knowing that tomorrow's prices will be higher. And it's no different than the stock market, right? You don't buy a stock today. Let's just say you're buying Walmart stock. You wouldn't buy Walmart stock today at, say, $100 a share so that you could on purpose sell Walmart stock tomorrow for $50 a share. That wouldn't make any sense. And the same thing goes when you go to the grocery store, when you're picking up items, when you're stockpiling. You're not going to stockpile something that you know is outrageously priced today unless you needed it. But you would more than likely stockpile toilet paper. You might stockpile canned goods. Let's just say you see canned goods on sale at 50% of what they normally cost. Well, if they don't expire for a year or 2 years or whenever they expire, if it's long enough for you to know that you're not going to let this item go to waste, then you would stockpile as much as you could afford to an extent. Fill your pantry up, fill whatever storage area you have with this particular item, knowing that maybe next week it's not there, or so then there becomes a supply chain issue. It's like, okay, if you know that supply will likely be low in the future, you get it now. We saw this with toilet paper and cleaning products back in the day. So so people are buying necessities, and Walmart CEO is finally coming out. Walmart CEO Doug McMillon, he's saying that aggressive markdowns on items such as clothing are also hurting margins. Now, we talked about the container ships finally getting shipments and deliveries out of the ports into the retail stores such as Walmart, COSTCO, Target, Sam's Club, BJ's, you name it. And I'm seeing deals. And we've also talked about, Amazon FBA, whenever you go to return a product, not all the time. And it's not just Amazon. I've seen it with Target. I've seen it with a few other online businesses, online stores, online retailers that they don't have the capacity, number one, to take on any more inventory because all of this stuff that was clogged at the ports is finally making its way to the shelves. But depending upon the price of the item, depending upon the profit margin that they would have earned from the particular item, many of these stores don't have restocking fees, so that's adding to the expenses, to the expense column of the balance sheet of the business. This is adding on to their expenses by attempting to process a return. Let's just say you order an item from Amazon, they're going to cover the cost of shipping 99% of the time. They're covering the cost of shipping. Even with Amazon's FedEx and UPS shipping discounts, their logistics still costs money. And so they're looking at it like, okay, we're going to pay money to have this item sent back to us through, FedEx or UPS or whoever it happens to be, United States Postal Service. Then we have hourly or salary employees. So we got these W-2 workers that we have to pay to process this. Then, 9 times out of 10, they're not charging a restocking fee. So how much are we going to recoup here if we process this return versus just allowing the customer to keep the item and we give the customer their money back and hopefully they don't make a habit out of this and take advantage of us? I'm assuming that this is probably what businesses like Amazon, Walmart, Target, or any other retailer is probably thinking if they're considering allowing a customer to return a product and not actually ask for the product back. So anyway, Walmart stocks shares, their stocks fell. And this actually took down a number of other stocks on the stock market, including Target, and of course Amazon, believe it or not. So, and this is what we've seen in the past. We've seen with the Amazon Mylar bags. There's been this big to do with Amazon banning Mylar bags, and I got a feeling that other retailers that sell Mylar bags are probably going to end up banning these Mylar bags. Now, it's not all colors of Mylar bags, so don't panic. You can still use Mylar bags with your prep, but certain types of Mylar bags will not be available. Number of outlets were indicating that Mylar bags have been used, since they retain odor, to, let's just say, pack certain types of not so legal items in it to get from point A to point B. Now, I don't know if that had anything to do with why Amazon doesn't want this particular type of Mylar bag on their platform and why they banned this particular type of Mylar bag, but who knows? Now, the shift in spending, this has left more items on store shelves and warehouses, which is essentially forcing big box retailers to aggressively mark down items that customers don't want. Now, obviously, this is not going to be a sustainable business model. They can't, these retailers like Walmart, COSTCO, Amazon, Best Buy, they're not going to be able to continuously mark these items down. They're going to mark themselves out of a profit. And as their profit margins continue to dwindle, they're going to order less to make up for the fact that they have so much product. Now, what we could see is a pendulum swing to the other side, where we go from, we had shortages to begin with. We had food shortages, all sorts of supply shortages in the grocery stores, in your Walmart, empty shelves in the Costco's, empty shelves in Walmart, empty shelves in Aldi. So now we have all this shipment coming in. Empty shelves are no longer an issue. Supply chain is trying to untangle itself, but now the pendulum swung from we don't have anything, empty shelves everywhere, to now the pendulum has swung the other way. No more empty shelves. Product is in abundance, and we don't even want you to return your item because we don't have any place to put it, and we certainly don't want to pay our employees and incur all these other fees. And now we have to sell it as an open box item because you opened it. So it's like there's all these costs associated with returning an item that these retailers don't want to have to deal with. Ends up costing them probably more than they would possibly make in profit. So it's like, just keep it. I'm pretty sure they're not going to let you just keep $1,000 item, but I'm pretty sure that there's boundaries that they've instructed their employees to just to say, hey, let a customer return this, or let a customer keep this, depending upon the value of the item. Maybe if they have a record, the ability to look at the customer's purchase and return history. I'm sure a lot of different factors come into play. Amazon's a smart company. They're not going to have their business just losing money left and right. So Walmart stock fell in after hours trading following this announcement, and it says a lot when a big discount retailer like Walmart has a fairly depressing outlook. So Walmart's a place where I don't care who you are, if you're wealthy, if you're low income, middle income, upper middle class, upper middle income, everybody knows to go to Walmart if you want to get a deal. Now, it's not necessarily the best deal all the time, but generally speaking, Walmart's not known for, you're not going to go to Walmart and buy a Louis Vuitton bag. You're not going to go to Walmart and buy a Birkin bag. That's not going to happen. Christian Louboutins are not going to be found in Walmart. People know of Walmart as cheap, budget products, so it's known as a deal. So if Walmart is projecting a negative outlook for the company, the CEO of Walmart just came out and said this today. If they have a negative outlook for the company, that says that the lower income, middle income American, based on the demographics of Walmart's average customer base, has been hit hard. And so if it's already showing up to a point where the CEO of Walmart is going to publicly say, hey, things ain't looking good, that's a big deal. Now, Walmart said that it now anticipates adjusted earnings per share of their Walmart stock in the second quarter and the full year to decline. Yeah. Now, Walmart pays a dividend. And so they're paying out dividends even though they're expecting the full year to decline around 8 to 9% and 11 to 13% respectively. That's a big deal, guys. This is a big deal. This is coming from Walmart. This is a multi-billion-dollar company, and this is on the backs of Walmart trying to maneuver their business model to accommodate the increase in fuel prices. Now, granted, diesel prices have been down lately. Gas prices have been down lately. As a matter of fact, I was just out. I saw gas prices right up the street from me for $3.66 for regular fuel. And what was interesting was that the same company, same gas station, it was a QT. So the same it was a different location, but 6 minutes away, another QT was selling gas at $3.99. I'm like, wow, it was like barely 6 miles away from the first one, so one had it for $3.66, the other one had it for $3.99 for regular. And I'm like, man, like, I wonder why there's such a difference in gas prices between those two. But anyway, Walmart, they're cutting back on how much they're trying to pay drivers, and this has impacted the trucking industry. You got AB5 out in California. They're not rioting, but there's an ongoing strike going on because of this recent legislation. You get hit left and right. Talking to truckers, and truckers are telling me that a lot of the newer truckers, they weren't ready for this. They weren't aware of the pitfalls of running a trucking business, a trucking operation. So many of the truckers didn't have the budget to sustain themselves during this odd and awkward period of higher fuel prices and lower payments for load transport. So it's terrible. And people depend on, the truckers are trying to sustain themselves. The truckers are trying to sustain their businesses. And these are small businesses. They don't have billion-dollar balance sheets to weather long-term storms or anything like that. And sometimes, it's a small business. They may have just started the business this year, and it may have actually been one of the worst years to start a business or to start a trucking business in 2022, given the circumstances. Profit margins for truckers are at the lowest that they've been in probably the last 18 months. So this is going to affect a lot of people. We're seeing more and more automation, fewer and fewer human interaction at the stores. I was watching Kevin Prepper. It's Kevin, but I always look him up as Kevin Prepper or Kevin SHTF. But Kevin was talking about, he was out in Vegas recently, and he was talking about how when he checked into, I think he said Caesar's Palace, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, he was checking in the Caesar's Palace, and he observed that there was such a long line for checking in, it was only like one person checking people in. I think he may have also experienced this at Palazzo. I forget which hotel in Las Vegas, Nevada he experienced this, but he said that there was a long line, and they didn't force you to use the kiosks for checking in. But it's kind of interesting. It's kind of cool. It's kind of not cool, because whenever you see kiosks and automation, you know that that's someone or many people's jobs that have been eliminated through automation. And of course, the goal of the companies is to maximize revenues, improve their balance sheets, maximize profit margins, and if there's a stock associated with it, the point is the goal is to increase the stock price, because CEOs, shareholders, and C-level executives' compensation is generally based on the performance of the stock. So you got businesses in the hospitality industry, which everything's transforming. Everything is transforming. So you got Caesar's Palace, massive casino in Las Vegas, making billions of dollars. You got Palazzo, which is, I don't know who owns Palazzo, but they're connected to the Venetian, very high-end resort, luxury resort in Las Vegas, Nevada, billion-dollar operation again. But according to Kevin, I think he mentioned, I don't know if I'm hearing this right, I think he mentioned that Palazzo and Caesar's Palace are owned by two different companies. Whatever the case is, whether that's true or not, I might have misheard. But the point is two different locations, possibly two completely different business owners, have shifted toward this automated check-in and check-out to a point where you could check in and check out of a hotel without even talking to anyone. That's scary. I think that the last I saw, if you look on Indeed, if you looked at LinkedIn, if you look at careerbuilder.com, those workers, employees that work at the desk, at the front desk, they usually make $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a year. And if you're a manager, probably upwards of, $70,000 to $100,000 a year. Now just imagine how many families were potentially disrupted as each of those people, each of those employees was laid off, permanently laid off, positions being eliminated as more and more automation is rolled out. It's scary. It's scary. So you got to watch. You got to watch. It's kind of like musical chairs. You got to watch what's going on around you so that you can kind of predict and prepare and plan and prep for what could be coming your way. Are you in an industry that's evolving, and what's your next step? And that's why creating side hustles and additional streams of income, picking up a part-time job to help you make ends meet, but ideally so that you can invest with, picking up a part-time job, creating an online business that you could scale. You need an alternative source of income. In these days, one income source is dangerous. It's dangerous. If, it really is dangerous, especially without a proper emergency fund for multiple months. If this recession hits as hard as it could, I don't know how many of you guys remember 2008. That wasn't anything to play with. Everyone and their mom was losing jobs. Everyone and their mom was losing houses through foreclosure and rising interest rates affecting mortgage payments. Many people had interest-only loans and adjustable rate mortgages that couldn't keep up with the mortgage payments as the interest rates were adjusting upward. And we're seeing this now. We're seeing interest rates adjusting upward. You got the Federal Reserve raising interest rates with no end in sight. We're expecting another 75 basis point rate hike going forward. That might happen this week or next week. Stock market crashed and is attempting to stabilize. But of course, with a stock market crash, if you're nearing retirement, if you're in retirement, you see your 401k crashing, your IRA depleting, or the value of your IRA, Roth IRA, traditional IRA being reduced as a result of the movement and direction of the stock market, that's very, very uncomfortable thing to see. So you got to have the proper economic preparation in place. So, but yeah, so big news coming out of Walmart, and inflation's also growing at the fastest pace that we've seen in the last 4 decades. So, as consumers face higher prices at the gas pump, grocery stores, restaurants, some of these customers are just choosing to spend their money in the most effective places, and people are counting their pennies now. And so this is a shift in the headwinds here. There's a shift in what's going on here. But I just wanted to bring this news and information to you guys. I hope that you guys are preparing. Hope that you guys are prepping. Some good information coming out from other prepper channels. You got Canadian Prepper. You got Kevin SHTF. You got Prepping for Survival. You've got Patrick Humphreys, Southern Prepper 1. Good information out here. So you guys take advantage, soak it up, make smart moves, make your money go further, and look to diversify your income sources. I think that's going to be real smart for everyone going forward. You guys be safe out there.